In anticipation of upcoming additions to the Battlestar Galactica franchise in the format of a new series for NBC streaming service Peacock, I've been exploring the various elements that make up this classic science fiction universe. The Cylons are one of the most iconic antagonists in science fiction, and in this video I'd like to briefly examine their society and origins across the various Battlestar Galactica productions. The Cylons were first seen in Glen A. Larson's 1978 Battlestar Galactica series. The setting for this space opera was in a far distant part of the universe where a society of advanced humans have populated a group of planets referred to as the 12 Colonies. Human civilization has been embroiled in a 1,000-year-long war with the superintelligent robot race known as Cylons, who seek galactic domination and the extermination of the human race. After a devastating Cylon attack against the 12 colonies, the surviving humans were forced to flee in civilian ships protected by a single colonial vessel, the Battlestar Galactica, and begin a dangerous trek across the galaxy to seek a new home among the lost 13th colony of humans on the fabled planet of Earth. Interestingly, the Cylons were created by a reptilian race also known as Cylons. However, their creations turned against them long ago, resulting in their creator's extinction centuries before the series takes place. The advanced reptilian race of Cylons, in their pursuit to make intelligent robots to serve them, saw humans as the most practical form for their robotic creations, and proceeded to create Centurion models that mimicked the human form, though bigger and stronger, and with interchangeable parts that enabled them to essentially live forever. The reptilian Cylons were ultimately overcome by their own technology. The hostile change in the robotic Cylons towards their reptilian creators came after their creation of the most advanced Cylon model, the IL series, the ultimate in machine technology, the Imperious Leader. Despite being the most advanced model, there was a slight error in its programming, and as a result, this Cylon ruler ordered the Centurions to turn against their creators and to pursue a course to achieve eternal perfection and order, expanding their sphere of influence through galactic domination under the new Cylon Empire. The 12 colonies of man became the target of the Cylons by coming to the aid of the conquered Hasari nation. Thus began the lengthy war between Cylons and humans. The robot race continued to bear the name of their creators, and the term Cylon came to exclusively describe these fearsome antagonists. In regards to the Cylon hierarchy, the chrome-plated Centurion and gold-plated Command Centurions are the soldiers, fighter pilots, and the general workforce for the Empire. They are incapable of independent actions. They are directed by more advanced Cylon models. While there are other IL series models, there is only one Imperious Leader who commands all Cylons. The other advanced IL series models function in an administrative capacity within the Empire, and one would step in as a replacement in case their leader was destroyed. The Imperious Leader is quite distinct in its appearance. Unlike the Centurions created to mimic the human form, the outer shell of the Imperious Leader resembles that of their reptilian creators, and notably is able to exhibit human qualities and emotions. The novelization of the original series pilot episode reveals that the Imperious Leader has a third brain that is specifically designed to imitate the human mind for the purpose of understanding and anticipating human actions. While Cylon society is almost entirely militaristic, there are non-military areas in which civilian models perform day-to-day maintenance and support roles, even though they are still capable of combat. As Cylon society advanced, long after the destruction of the 12 colonies of man, an android Cylon was created, as featured in the series Galactica 1980. While previous models merely mimicked the human form, a humanoid's appearance was virtually indistinguishable from them. They look human, and even demonstrate a condescending attitude towards the older Centurion Cylon models. These cybernetic beings have become an icon of pop culture, and are mostly remembered by the classic Centurion model, with the glowing, sliding red eye, and their signature phrase, "By your command." It was not surprising when others sought to continue the legacy of this beloved franchise. In the 2003 reimagined Battlestar Galactica series from Ronald D, the Cylons have a different yet rich backstory that gradually unfolds as the series progresses. Many elements are similar to the original Glen A. Larson series, including the setting for the show, which takes place in a far distant part of the universe where humans have advanced, populating other worlds. The premise of the series is told in the opening for each episode, detailing a notable difference in Battlestar Galactica mythos. This time, the robotic Cylon race was created by humans. They would serve them until the time came when they rebelled and turned against their masters, inciting a long and bloody war. The prequel series, Caprica, details the events leading to the creation of the Cylon Centurion and how they came to be integrated in society as the workforce for humans. The Cylons themselves were designed initially as soldiers with a human-like chassis and equipped with a revolutionary processor that would bring higher brain function and basic self-awareness to cybernetic lifeforms. Cylons for military and civilian use were produced, though these machines, equipped with artificial sentience, soon came to resent the continued ill treatment from their masters. The devastating conflict that ensued, known as the First Cylon War, eventually ended when an armistice was reached between the humans and their robot creations. The Cylons then ventured out into space, disappearing from the 12 colonies of man in search of their own home. 40 years later, the events of Ronald D. Moore's Battlestar Galactica begin. During their long absence, the Cylons continued to evolve, advancing their technology until they were ready to enact their plan to strike first against the planets of the 12 colonies in an effort to wipe out human civilization. Similar to the original series, the few survivors of the Cylons' attack fled in various spaceships, protected by the only military vessel to have escaped destruction, the Battlestar Galactica. The Colonial Fleet journeys across the universe, fleeing their Cylon enemies while seeking a new home for themselves, with the hope of finding the fabled 13th colony of humans known as Earth. With this reimagining of the series came new models of Cylons as well as their technology. When fighting against their human creators, they also sought to emulate them as they worked to advance and improve themselves, with the goal to eventually surpass humanity. Driven to evolve, they conducted many experiments on animals and human captives during the First War in an attempt to create new hybrid versions of Cylons. And during their 40-year isolation, they eventually came to produce several highly advanced models. Several different versions of biological humanoid Cylons were developed with the arrival and assistance of a cybernetic race that was biologically identical to these new models, although they had a different origin. This group came to be known as the Final Five, but that's a video for another day. With this technological advancement also came changes to their society. The Centurion models were significantly upgraded from their war-era predecessors. However, their position among Cylon society had been downgraded, in that they no longer served in leadership roles as they did during the First Cylon War. Modern Centurions are completely subservient to their humanoid leaders, and are even equipped with inhibitors preventing full artificial sentience for the purpose of avoiding uprisings against their more advanced flesh-and-blood masters. Modern Cylon spacecrafts also underwent significant change, as they now consist of both mechanical and organic parts. The Cylon Raider is now autonomous and biomechanical, as it is equipped with a brain, and the Cylon hybrid model, which is part machine and part biological, are fully integrated into the Cylon base stars for the purpose of managing ship functions. Hailed as the quintessential form of Cylon and the next step in their evolution, the flesh-and-blood humanoid Cylons are virtually identical to humans in every way, though made stronger and with greater stamina. Their programming has given them genuine human personality traits. They can feel pain and are susceptible to certain diseases. Some are even programmed to believe they are human. There is one significant difference, however. While humanoid Cylons have reproductive systems like humans, they are unable to reproduce as they do. With their development of resurrection technology, when a Cylon is destroyed, its consciousness is automatically downloaded into another copy of itself, and there are many copies. This technology, however, has not prevented them from striving to reproduce, as they feel it is a critical step in the next stage of their evolution. The antagonists of Ronald D. Moore's Battlestar Galactica have earned their own place as a science fiction icon, attempting to honor the legacy of Glen A. Larson's creation. Now a new series is in the works by showrunner Sam Esmail. The Mr. Robot and Homecoming executive producer is now developing this new show for the streaming service Peacock, and has confirmed that it will not be a reboot, but rather it will tell an original story set within the mythos of Ronald D. Moore's series. There is certainly plenty of room to tell original stories within this rich and complex universe, but I'm curious as to which Cylon era he'll choose to focus on, and how he intends to honor the legacy of what came before. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. And let me know what you think about these iconic figures of science fiction, and which model of Cylons you would like to see in this new Battlestar Galactica series. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.